You know, it's not just books available from the library. How about tickets to the EMP? We'll show you how to pick up a pair. Then find out why these firefighters are hanging out at your local branch and learn about the architectural history of some of Seattle's oldest branches that are right in your own neighborhood. It's all about libraries coming up on this episode of CityStream. Hello and welcome to CityStream. I'm Nicole Sanchez, and we are bringing you the show this week from the Ballard branch of the Seattle Public Library. This building, just under 7,300 square feet, opened in 2005. It has an expanded reference section, a large area for children and young adults, computers, meeting rooms, as well as visiting art from local schools. The building also includes the Ballard Neighborhood Service Center, where you can find information on payments, city services, and programs. And now for some quick trivia. Do you know how many people use the Seattle Public Library system each year? What do you think? 5 million? 10 million? Well, get this, it's more than 14 million people. That's a huge number. And it's about more than just checking out books, from free museum passes to help finding a job. I recently discovered all the great benefits of having a library card.
All right, ABC dinosaurs, awesome.
Sarah Burkhalter and her kids love coming to the Seattle Public Library.
H is for Huayangosaurus.
They enjoy checking out books in the children's section, but they especially like a huge benefit of having a library card.
Put it back where you found it, please.
The free Museum Pass program.
I wanted them to experience art like at the Seattle Art Museum and music at the Experience Music Project, but with preschooler attention spans, don't quite feel justified in paying full price admission, so it's been really convenient to be able to take a short time and stop in and be able to have them experience things that they wouldn't have, and for me too, to get out of the house and do things that I might not have done. So
that's right. Library card holders have access to free museum passes to more than a dozen local museums. All you have to do is go online to reserve a spot at popular museums like the Museum of Flight, SAM, and other attractions like the Seattle Aquarium.
I'm a booster of this program. I tell all my friends about it, people that don't know about it. Because I think it's a great, I like free things, and especially with trying to find things to do with a couple of kiddos. It's just a really neat way to have a diversity of things to do in the city.
Kyoko Iwasaka is also a big fan of both the library and the Museum Pass program. She's a serious reader. She checks out about 70 books a month. Yes, 70. She's only been in the area for 5 years and says the Museum Pass program has really helped her discover Seattle.
I was always interested in, but I just never had the opportunity to go. So when I found the pass, well, maybe I should go. And it was pretty easy to use the system to get the pass.
Depending on the museum you choose, you can get anywhere from 2 to 4 passes, so your friends and family can come with you, all for free. And some of the museums already have free admission for kids.
Each year we've added new museums, and what's nice is that the museums have also added the number of passes that they're making available. So right from the get-go is very popular, and I was just checking, about 6,000 passes will probably go out in 2014. And when you times that times the number of people, we're looking at probably 10 to 15,000 people who are going to museums using the library card.
One of the first museum partners to sign on is also a popular pick for library card holders to use a pass at, EMP Museum. And even though this is a big tourist hotspot, the pass program is helping more locals get to go.
It's very interesting when we partner with Seattle Public Library, because they're a local institution. The number of people that are checking out passes, going on the Seattle Public Library website, and then are able to come to the museum for free are obviously going to be Seattle residents and those that are members of Seattle Public Library. So that allows us to be able to give back to the community in a very special way.
But free museum passes are just one of many perks to having a library card. There are tons of free things you can get online, from instant access to thousands of ebooks, movies, magazines, and even free music.
People can download music. People can download 5 songs per week from the library and to keep them. So, why spend more money to buy songs when you can get through the library for free and you can transfer it to most of the device.
Looking for a job? How about some free resume help? Or are you into computers? You can get several Microsoft certifications all for free. The list goes on and on.
Can you climb up on the stool?
And it's all part of the Seattle Public Library's commitment to serving the community in a way that's helping people get better connected with their city and all the amazing things it has to offer.
Thank you. Good job. All right, you want to grab your book? Yeah, it's amazing all the things you can do with the library card. It's a great benefit. It's a great community benefit.
You can find out more about the Museum Pass program and all the other great features of the Seattle Public Library by going to their website. It's spl.org. Still to come, we'll check out a book club fluent in American Sign Language. CityStream will be right back.
Hi, I'm Nancy Guppy, host of Art Zone, Seattle's weekly local look at the arts. Now, if you want to know what's happening around town in music, dance, film, theater, and things that defy description, then tune in every Friday night at 8 p.m. right here on Seattle Channel 21 with repeats throughout the week and, of course, always streaming online. Now, our mission here at the Art Zone is to bring artists and audience.
It's no secret, people in Seattle love to read. We're one of the most literate cities in the entire U.S. And the Seattle Public Library system is taking that love of literacy one step further with the American Sign Language Book Club. As Brian Callanan shows us, it can help all of us to communicate better.
In a place where silence is golden, there's one group of people that simply won't stop talking. Welcome to the American Sign Language Book Club, which started at the Seattle Public Library as a pilot program in late 2012. But it's now turned into a room full of people with a love for reading, powered by the passion of Suzette Leday.
Who wants to start the discussion?
Leday is an accessibility specialist at the library who leads this group once every 2 months.
And it's been growing for the past year, so we're really excited about this.
Most often, there's no translator like Karen Carlson, whose work was critical in putting this story together.
It's hard when you read a book and then you have to wait 2 months to get together to discuss it.
The group is simply all about signing for people with or without hearing loss.
That's a good one.
And though an estimated 2 million people nationwide use American Sign Language, or ASL, every day, Leday says this is a unique opportunity.
There's really no other place where people get together to discuss literature in sign language without voice, and that's just a really cool aspect of the group. That police officer was critical.
Marlene Swartz has come to ASL Book Club from the very beginning, showing up to meetings large and small with a group that feels like family.
We don't have to explain our hearing loss. We can just communicate with each other.
It's a welcome change for people like Marlene, who have a love for reading but haven't been able to share it.
I've tried to go to hearing book clubs, and I can't hear enough, and they go too fast.
Marlene says reading and education in general can be a challenge for people with hearing loss like herself. She didn't learn to read until after high school.
So I really like that.
But this group has kept her fire for reading alive and has also reminded her ASL is a very physical language that creates a personal connection no email ever could.
Because of technology, the deaf community has really kind of changed a lot. We don't get together as much as before, and I miss that a lot.
It's a can't-miss schedule on the book selection, from Emma Donohue's Room, written from a 5-year-old's perspective, to Dave Eggers' Zaytoon, about a Muslim family's experience in Hurricane Katrina. All the titles are chosen by club members.
I think that this kind of experience could equate with the deaf experience.
Themes of isolation, loss, and inner strength touch the lives of these readers more closely than many of us who can hear will ever know.
But it wasn't connected.
Robin Roeder can't wait to turn the pages and can't wait to talk about what she's read.
This is a place where everybody who's able to communicate using sign language is welcome, and that's a really different, wonderful thing.
Robin doesn't have any hearing loss, but knows ASL and serves as a guide for people who are deaf and blind.
And now in this whole different world, everything had changed.
Robin is hoping this group continues to grow as more people, with hearing loss or without, recognize what they can learn from each other.
I think everyone is enriched by exposure to different languages and ways of communicating. There's so much to learn from people whose culture is not the same as the one that you grew up in.
Or to put it another way, when it comes to understanding the real meaning of sign language in our world, maybe all of us can listen a little more closely. Thank you very much.
The ASL Book Club meets every month at the Douglas Truth Branch in the Central District. And in Northgate, they're going to be starting an ASL Story Time on March 25th, and they're hoping for a good turnout. And stay with us, more CityStream will be right back. Welcome back to CityStream. From 1880 to 1929, Andrew Carnegie built more than 2,500 public libraries all around the world. Today in Seattle, 6 of those buildings are still operating as libraries. Producer Ian DeVere has the story.
The library moved a number of times in its early career. Until finally it landed in the Yesler Mansion. There were 2 rooms in the hotel, which would have been a good home for some time. New Year's Eve, yes, the library burned. And so the city librarian and the board at the time and the editor of the PI became very active in contacting Andrew Carnegie,
who was a philanthropist at that time, very wealthy man. He really believed in self-education. I think in part because he'd left school at the age of 14 to start working himself.
You know, Andrew Carnegie was a very poor child, and he was permitted to read in a very wonderful library, and he said, when I make my money, when I become whatever I'm going to become, I won't forget.
The term Carnegie Library generally refers to the public libraries that were funded by the Carnegie Foundation. These were funds that were distributed across the nation, libraries in every state. And his idea was that local communities would buy the site for the library. He would pay for the construction and oversee the design and approve the design, and then the local community had to commit to operating the building.
And the building was built to wild acclaim, you know, that people just loved the Carnegie Library.
But you do see these Carnegie libraries in Seattle start to emerge in Green Lake, in the Roosevelt area of the University District, and Fremont, and West Seattle, and Columbia City. They didn't want to locate them where the sort of the hoi polloi or the distraction of commerce was. So you'll see all of these libraries not in the center of the commercial neighborhoods, but off a block or two, often close to a school, so that there's this sort of natural relationship between education in public schools and self-education in libraries.
The previous Carnegie buildings are a little more in the Beaux-Arts style, so you see lots of massive masonry, brickwork.
They studied the Roman orders and the classical orders and proportions. Decoration was accepted. These buildings were all set on a kind of a landscape setting, so they were all designed as little pieces of sculpture. Well, big pieces of sculpture that you could see as an object, and so there wasn't only one front that was attractive. You know, whatever you could see was holistic. Most of the libraries, as you walk towards them, the stairs take you up to the library. And I think that was sort of a deliberate effort to not only make it clear this is how you come in, but as you walk up, you know, your eyes are going up. It's almost physically inspirational. You know, it's like going into a church where you're kind of being brought up, and in this case, to a temple of learning. They have these instructions from Carnegie. You're going to include these spaces in this kind of volume, with the reading room being the central space, the service spaces around it, and the meeting room below. The buildings are tall volumes in part to accommodate these tall windows around the perimeter. The windowsill of which is usually about 6 feet, because below that are the library stacks with the books and the bookshelves.
And that space, when you come into it, it's a very honoring space. And that's because I think of that huge volume and those beautiful windows that all the Carnegies have in different ways.
It's maybe being inside these rooms really works on some kind of psychological level. But where else do we experience that? So in some ways, I'm not saying they're kind of magical, but they might work to just encourage people to open up and discover things.
It's a little piece of history. Most of them, almost all of them now, have had their 100th anniversary.
It's an expression of pride and of continual care.
We think they help determine a characteristic in the neighborhood, solidness. You know, the people fit, you know, they put the library into their daily routine. You know, they've read that book now, they want to take it back, their hold is in, they want to pick that up, they're going to meet somebody there, they're going to a lecture or a program there. There's a story time there, there's any number of reasons to put the library in your daily schedule, and people do. It's great, some things are going to change, we know that, but some things should stay the same, and sometimes the library is the right thing to do that.
The first Carnegie Library to open in the Seattle area was back in 1904 right here in Ballard. And while it's no longer a library, it still stands on Northwest Market Street. A popular event for the Seattle Public Library system is story time. Of course, there's lots of great books, some singing with even some lessons thrown in, but there's a special story time hour that's actually all about safety. Producer Peggy Lysett tells us more about firefighter story time.
The dragon's nose twitched and he started to wheeze. His eyes misted up and he blew a great sneeze. Ha-choo!
We're about public education, and we're trying to teach kids about fire prevention. We're trying to also make them not afraid of firefighters should we have a fire.
Like that, the boots are already in the pants, so it's pretty easy.
They watch the firefighter get dressed so they know it's a person. And that is why you hear us also make sure that the firefighter talks to the kids so they can hear what that voice sounds like, so that if we do come to their house, they'll think of it as being somebody friendly and they won't hide and be afraid of us.
Coming up next. What's your name?
Aurora.
Oh, do you want a sticker?
Yeah.
What was your favorite part of the story?
Was about the dragon saying achoo.
When he sneezed and set everything on fire?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Who comes after that?
They go to the neighbor's house.
These are a lot of fun, of course. The fire truck, these firefighters like rock stars to these kids, but the most important part of this is it teaches the concepts of getting out quickly, having an escape plan, having a meeting spot, and calling 911. Like I said, the firefighters like rock stars, these kids, so they really enjoy it, but the parents really appreciate the educational piece to it as well.
I have two boys, aged 5 and 3. I think it was really helpful for them. They enjoyed the story, and I think it was nice to see all the gear up close. And I think it helped them to just get familiarized with the look and not be scared if ever anything should happen.
Please, what? A fire bat? A fire robot open doors?
The more outreach that the firemen do, I think the more comfortable that the children get. And in this way, they get to see the fire gear.
Let's see next. A fire axe.
And I think it's a good reminder for parents who bring their children to have an emergency route and to practice that emergency route.
You're trying to see if I'm going to say no, aren't you, Jackson? Okay, now you're crossing over. You can't go that far, Jackson. The most important message I want out today is that firefighters are their friend. And whether they fall down and scrape their knee or they're caught in a fire. You know, our hope is that by smoke detectors and that, they won't get caught in the fire. Our real hope is that these kids wave at their firefighter and understand that they have a friend that can help them regardless of what they get caught in. Yep, you got to come back and take our test if you want to know about those buttons.
Yeah, you got a few more years before you can take the test.
Come on back. We need you. Here we go. You ready, Jackson?
When Firefighter Storytime first started, it was only held in October for Safety Month. But you know, it's been such a hit, it now happens several times a year. You can look for it again this summer.
Are you on the go? Then take CityStream with you. Log on to seattlechannel.org or iTunes to sign up for podcasts of every CityStream episode. Then download them to your mobile device and never miss a show.
Well, that's going to do it for this week's show. If you'd like to learn more about any of the stories you've seen here, or to check out our library of past CityStream episodes, just head over to our website. It's seattlechannel.org/CityStream. And you can now watch us in HD online or on Comcast Channel 321 or Wave Channel 721. I'm Nicole Sanchez. Thanks so much for watching CityStream.